Pain. Suffering. Oh, you're here? Well, if you didn't get that, today we're playing Don't Starve Together. Today's challenge I will never ever do again, and I would never ever recommend trying it ever. It can only be described as hours and hours of absolute suffering, and it's the sole reason why I haven't uploaded anything for 3 months. I'm of course talking about, can you beat Don't Starve Together without crafting? The rules are simple. Today we won't be allowed to craft anything. No torches, no backpacks, no science machine, no nothing. In fact, the entire crafting tab on the left side of the screen is banned. The only exception to this is trading with Pearl, which I didn't even do. Oh, and also, building isn't crafting, it's building. And the goal is as always to beat the ancient FUELWEAVER and the celestial champion. Okay, but am I missing something here? How do you plan on beating the game without crafting? There's no way you can beat both FUELWEAVER and CC without even crafting a torch, right? Let alone even survive the first night? Well, it's far worse than that, my friends. If the challenge wasn't possible, I would be spared all this pain. Unfortunately though, there's about a 1 in 10 billion chance you actually can do it. Yeah, trying to do this run in one go would on average take me 75 million years. And frankly, I don't have that kind of time. No, for this challenge I will employ the use of RNG manipulation, and we'll get into what that means as we go. Enough talk though, let's go already. Not so fast though, as the first bit of RNG manipulation starts right here. You see, to be allowed to fight the celestial champion, you need to catch 15 of these moon gleams, with 15 uses of a bug net. One bug net has 10 uses, meaning we need 2, and since we can't craft them, the only way to obtain them is from this set piece right here. The problem with this is that this set piece only has a 0.8 chance to spawn in your world, and there can only ever be one on the surface and one in the caves. This means that we're already down to a 1 in 15,000, and we haven't even made the world yet. Thankfully though, there's a mod out there by this guy, Salem. I hope I didn't butcher that. That lets me generate a world seed with the things I want in it, within the limits of what the game would normally allow, of course. This challenge would not have been possible without your work, and here of course the world seeds I used. Let's not dilly-dally anymore though, and proceed straight into character selection, where we must pick Willow. As it turns out, Willow is the perfect character for this challenge. She's all about fire, and with our infinitely refuelable lighter, we have a solution for light for the entire run. On top of that, her really useful fire spells also don't require any crafting whatsoever, since they just need embers to be cast, which can be obtained by killing enemies that are on fire. Got all that? Let's see then if I can beat this game without crafting anything. In this run, we have no time to waste.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
We don't need any stupid grass or twigs since we can't even use them. No, instead we absolutely need to get our weapon and armor situation under control to be able to defeat the strong bosses we're up against. But how do we even get weapons and armor? We can't craft them, so what then? For armor, there is really only one option. The eye mask that drops from the Eye of Terror boss. And would you look at this? Here's the terrarium that we use to summon the boss, along with a free axe to kill it with. The axe alone doesn't pack enough punch though, and as it turns out, we can absolutely do better. Tentacle spikes deal more than twice the damage the axe deals with the same durability, and they're dropped by tentacles over here in the swamp. If you just focus up, they're easy to kite. One hit, dodge, one hit, dead, spike, hit, dodge, repeat, boom, bang, and wow! We have 3 tentacle spikes on day 1, meaning we can now summon the Eye of Terror. Yep, a boss fight on day 1. Maybe resource gathering is holding you back. Okay, we're going into this fight with no freaking armor, meaning we die in 3 hits. Luckily, this is the easiest boss fight in the game. Well, oops, we got hit already. Okay, phase 2, where he grows a mouth. Oh shit! Oh shit! Well, thankfully the eye leaves come day, and we need to pick up the fight on the following night. Luckily, that means we can spend some time eating butterfly wings to heal up. Ooh, butter! While we're still here, we might as well get some more tentacle spikes though. Splish! Splash! Ow! Butter! Whack! Schmack! Stop it! I said stop it. Ooh! Oh! Merms! Get out of here! Okay, let's actually do Phase 2 properly this time, shall we? Phase 2 is all about dealing damage, meaning we don't really have time to deal with the minions here. Instead, we need to kite the eye away from them to deal as much damage to it as possible. Well, the nights in autumn are so short, so I guess we'll finish him next night. There's a wormhole right here, so let's jump through it. Wow, it led us straight to the killer bee fields. Who could have possibly predicted that? Definitely not me, who knows the exact layout of the world. No, no, no. In all seriousness, we absolutely need this biome for the run, which halves our chances once again, bringing us down to a 1 in 31,000, since the biome only has a 50% chance to appear. Why do we need this biome then? Well, firstly, we obviously need to stick with the theme of bee genocide, but gameplay-wise, we need the bees to mass produce the embers we need for our fire spells. Remember that we get embers by killing mobs that are on fire, and so by gathering 4 embers with a lighter and using the combustion spell, we can set all the bees within the AoE on fire. The bees not only take fire damage from, you know, burning, but also from all the bees around them, meaning they die very quickly and we are free to pick up all the embers. After much bee cooking, we seem to have accumulated a whopping 3 stacks of embers. Not bad. What do we actually use the embers for then, apart from just cooking bees and gathering more embers? Well, I'm glad you asked, so let me demonstrate on our good buddy the eye. Well, that there was Willow's Lunar Blast spell, which we got from picking the Lunar Affinity over on the right here. Remember the Lunar Affinity. It also has a secret property that will help us later. That's all fine and dandy, but let's collect our prize, shall we? The eye mask. This beauty will stick with us right until the endgame, since it's a helmet that offers 80% damage negation, and it also lets us repair it by feeding it meat, meaning we can bypass having to craft any armor entirely. The only downsides to this is that the helmet can break if we don't pay attention, and we can also not get anything better than 80% armor. With that said, I think we're now ready to build a base. And by build a base, I of course mean dropping a bunch of junk on the floor, since we can't craft any structures. I chose this location specifically though, since it's right next to this beautiful structure, the drama stage. In my exploration guide here on YouTube, I said that the stage was completely useless for survival, and I may have to eat those words now, since we would be 110% screwed without it in this challenge. You see, by performing at the stage, 3 briar wolves will spawn that carry useful items. There are 7 different sets you can get from them, and we just happen to get the most useless one. Yeah, I will actually increase the chances to complete the run back up to 1 in 15,000 for this one, but don't you worry, it will go much, much lower very soon, since we need to return to this stage every 3 to 6 days to roll for more stuff. Believe it or not, but we're actually ready to head into the ruins right now. We can't actually get more powerful, so screw it. We surely won't die, right? But how are you even gonna get into the caves, you might ask? You can't even craft a pickaxe, and you didn't get one from the stage. Well, I may have simply picked one up from the guaranteed marble set piece right after we farmed the bees, so we're good. And yes, I did actually edit an empty inventory slot over it for the suspense. We can also leave it on the surface after we mine the entrance to actually free up that inventory slot, since we don't exactly need to mine resources for anything. When we enter the caves, the stairs actually link up to right where the first bugnet set piece is. Nice. Since I know the map layout of the caves as well, I also know that a dapper vest set piece is close. We'll need that later, which reduces the chances of completing the run by about a third to 1 in 47,000. Going further, we pick up Hutch from a side passage. I gotta say that investing some skill points into increasing the lighter's radius is really nice. Then I beeline straight into the ruins and into the labyrinth, where the next target on our hit list resides, the Ancient Guardian. Before we fight him though, I take the time to run around the labyrinth and look through all the chests. But why? You don't need any loot, right? Well, I will definitely need a bunch of gems to summon the Crab King boss later. I need all the nightmare fuel I can possibly find, and also spears and bat-bats are nice for combat. Oh, and I would have really liked to find some pick/axes, but I didn't. Anyways, let's fight this guy. Since we're basically at our peak power already, we're absolutely gonna shred this boss. The Burning Frenzy spell is perfect for this fight, since it increases our damage by 25% when attacking burning targets. By lighting the Guardian on fire with our lighter, he therefore not only takes fire damage and lights up the room for us, but he also takes 63 damage from all our swings. Very nice. Okay, phase 2 starts now, and as you can see, his health bar has turned black. This means the Guardian just became shadow aligned, which increases our damage by another 10% thanks to our lunar alignment. Now we're dealing 70 damage per hit, more than a Dark Sword, and it's only day 6. Since the Dapper Vest is keeping our sanity in check, the only thing we need to worry about now are the tentacles he summons. Very nice. And since he died while on fire, he also dropped a fat load of embers for us. Okay, but the loot is the moment of truth. Hey, nice! We actually need both the Lazy Explorer and the Magiluminescence for this run to be at all possible. Why do we need them so badly? Well, together they increase our movement speed by a whopping 50%. The Magiluminescence provides a light radius, and the Lazy Explorer lets us teleport 20 times. The only bad thing about the Magiluminescence is that it constantly requires us to refuel it with Nightmare Fuel, meaning we need to stock up on that since we're gonna be wearing the amulet 24/7. We now have everything we need from here, so let's get back to the surface. Back at base, we drop off all our loot. Then we go find another required set piece for the run, a crockpot boon. Who needs to make crockpots when you can just find them, am I right? This is basically mandatory for getting healing foods that don't reduce our sanity, and the recipes I'll be making are honey ham and tall scotch eggs that heal for 30 and 60 respectively. Okay, up until now there's been an awfully small amount of pain in this run, and I promised pain, so let's change that, shall we? The next targets on our hit list are the shadow pieces, and they can only be fought on day 21 at the earliest. That is actually a good thing, since before we can even fight them, we need to bring all 3 marble pieces to that set piece I picked up a pickaxe from earlier. Normally, to move these pieces, you would use a beefalo, since they aren't affected by the reduced movement speed players are from carrying heavy things. Yeah, normally, since we can't craft a saddle. I'm gonna cry. At least I can farm some nightmare fuel as we go. Oh, and I also visited the stage and got some fishing gear. No, shit. Well, that's not good since I need all the teleports I can get. Oh, brother. That only took me 5.5 days to do. Yay. Time-wise, we're completely fine though, since we're now bottlenecked by day 21 and winter. So let's make the most of the wait. Firstly, we pick up the second bugnet. Nice. Then I picked up 10 marble that we'll need later. I performed at the stage to get a pickaxe and a miner hat. And then I headed back to the ruins. We're here for 2 reasons. Number 1, I want to check all the chests I missed in the labyrinth for pick/axes. Didn't find any. But number 2 was the most painful experience I've had in this game. Well, you know, yet anyways. You see, to complete all the steps needed to fight the Celestial Champion, we need a bunch of stuff that you need to craft, and one of them is a deconstruction staff. I say need to craft, since the only other way to get one that doesn't require you to craft something else first is to destroy an ancient pseudoscience station down in the ruins and hope for a 1 in 909 chance to get it. That's a 0.11% chance, and that means we're now down to a 1 in 400 million. Hold up though, cause it's way worse than that. To destroy the station we would need a hammer, but the hammer set piece happens to be mutually exclusive to the bugnet set piece, meaning we have 0 ways to get a hammer. Therefore our only option is to have the rooks down here in the ruins run over the stations for us. And bro, there are no words to describe how much I hate rooks. These motherfuckers happen to be the most chaotic bastards on the face of the planet. They sometimes run towards them like you want them to, but other times they unexplainably just run away to Narnia or something and disappear from the face of the earth, never to be seen again. Sometimes you can hit them to provoke them, other times they get scared and just book it, and every once in a while they just don't bother to do anything. There is no way to ever manipulate them consistently. Sometimes they even run straight into a wall for 10 seconds and you just have to stand there. What follows are the most painful, excruciating and skin-crawling hours of my life. I so badly just wanted to rip my hair out. Anyways, I was lucky to have 2 stations right next to each other at least, and both stations give us 2 chances to roll for a deconstruction staff. This means I can roll for a staff roughly once every 30 seconds, and from that I calculated the average time it would take to get a staff to be 7.5 hours. I had to spend on average 7.5 hours kiting the worst enemy in the game around, and what's even worse is that most of the time the station also spawns enemies that take the rook's attention. Luckily though, I got, well, lucky, and it only took me 5 hours to get the staff. You know, cause 5 hours isn't a long time. Thank God though. I don't even want to think about the fact that it could have easily taken me twice that long. I never want to do this challenge ever again. Ever again. On the way back, we used the Lunar Blast to take care of some monkeys. We very importantly picked up a free pitchfork from this guaranteed bunny hutch set piece and used the Lunar Blast yet again to take care of some spiders. This thing is really useful, huh? Using the pitchfork we literally just picked up, we run around the mosaic biome to dig up all the cobblestone turf we can find. We absolutely need the speed boost we get from building a road for the plans I have for the shadow pieces. What is said plan? Well, usually people always fight the knight first, bishop second, and rook last, since it's absolutely the easiest way to do it. But come on, I can't do that to the shadow rook after all he did for me in the last challenge, and killing the bishop last would be the most boring fight in the game. That, my friends, is why we're gonna be kiting the shadow knight. The thing no one ever does, because his attack reach can only be described as being blatantly unfair, and we're gonna do it with just a tentacle spike and 80% armor, since our Burning Frenzy spell doesn't even work against it. We're gonna die. Hey, at least we're not gonna die until day 21, right? So we can chill for a bit. Wrong! More pain! Firstly, we need to take care of some more tentacles for armor and weapons, since monster meat is the best food for the eye mask. But secondly, I need a bunch of boards and cut stone for the Crab King boss fight that we're gonna do later. We can't refine boards or cut stone, meaning the only way to get enough of it is to hammer down a bunch of pig houses. And did you catch that? That oh so painful word, hammer, meaning rooks. A rook on the surface isn't guaranteed, it's about 50%, meaning we're now down to a 1 in 800 million. But I mean, look at this guy, this is 100% not okay. Like, the shadow rooks behave just fine and do exactly what you want them to, but normal rooks are impossible to control. I mean, I have to just quit out here to reset his location, I can't have him destroy my crockpot. Before I took care of him though, I realized the stage must be up right now, and just in time too. We definitely definitely want the weather set here since we haven't gotten it yet and the weather's gonna become a real problem soon. Kiting the rook to the pig houses was just as, if not more skin crawling than before. This time there aren't just 2 targets, but rather like 10 we need to bring down. And I was already frustrated from having done this for 5 hours. Hello, come on bro, just move, damn it!
Nope.
I can't describe how infuriating things like that are by now. Did this pig just buy insurance from you or something? Like, this is getting ridiculous!
2,000 years later.
Oh my god. I never want to do this again. Never again. Just get out of here. Okay, let's talk about winter that is gonna start in a day. In winter, it's cold. And Willow has this stupid downside that she freezes faster than other characters. This is normally a non-issue since you can just make a thermal stone and not have to worry about heat ever, basically. But there's just one problem with that. We aren't allowed to craft the bugger. This means that we constantly need to keep heating ourselves up with our spells, which will make winter extremely painful. I think you get the theme of the video, right? To prepare for that, I went to the Killer Bee fields to restock some embers, and I picked up some tall bird eggs on the way. Then I spent my final moment of freedom cooking them all into tall Scotch eggs, since their 60 healing each will make it more likely for me to not die in the fight with the Shadow Knight. And no, Rook, you are not ruining my nice moment. Not again. Winter is here, folks, and this is gonna be the first and last time you see someone unironically using the rabbit earmuffs we got from the stage. They are so unbelievably trash at keeping you warm with Willow's downside, so it's not even funny. This means we'll have to find an insulation upgrade as soon as humanly possible, and our only available option is the Tam O'Shanter. The Tam is dropped from this walrus boy with a 25% chance. That of course means that we killed 3 of them and didn't get it. Yeah, I can't really manipulate that RNG without doing the whole sequence with the Rook again, so I guess we're stuck with these stupid earmuffs for now. You know, at least the run is back to something like a 1 in 2.5 billion, I guess. Okay, but now it's the new moon night of day 21, and you know what that means, right? It's time to fight the freaking Shadow Knight. Okay, I'm running out of nighttime, so I guess we start the fight right now. Just gotta, yeah, put the final statue together. Oh, and now we're going. We're gonna start with the bishop here, since it's quite literally impossible to dodge at higher levels. It only has 800 health, so it'll die pretty quick. And there we go. Now it gets serious. The knight is no joke, even at level 2, but thankfully the rook's movement is so easy to manipulate, meaning this phase shouldn't be too hard. Hello, can you hit me already, Mr. Knight? Okay, but now the real fight begins, and boy oh boy is this gonna be hard. Just look at his attack reach. We can barely dodge him even with all these speed boosts stacked together, so you can't just go in for an attack whenever you want it against this guy. There's a very precise timing you have to nail. To even have a chance to land a hit, we need him to taunt us like this. It's not that simple, however, since he needs to initiate his second taunt before you strike, and otherwise he'll immediately retaliate with no way to dodge. The big problem is that even if we nail the timing, we can only place 2 hits, and very rarely 3. He also doesn't always taunt you, meaning we need to be extremely alert and respond correctly to what he does. If I didn't dodge there, the helmet would have broken and we would have lost right there. He deals 38 damage to the helmet every hit and he did 35% on it. So we really need to keep it up at all times. Whoa, I was able to get 3 hits right there. Our timing needs to be impeccable to do that. Ouch, yeah, that's a reminder that we 100% need to be on the road to even have a chance at dodging. Yeah, see? I hit him too early there and I got punished for it. We're in a bit of a predicament here. If he chooses to attack twice here, yeah, we absolutely get hit again. We need to step up or I'll simply run out of armor and die. Oh my gosh, did you see that? I somehow got 4 hits. What? Shit, all my fireballs ran out. I need to recast them real quick. Yeah, if I didn't have these, I would be a popsicle by now. Oh no, can you hear the barking? A hound wave is coming in the middle of the fight. This could end really poorly if I don't finish the night first. I'm getting hit so much, bro. The panic is real. Ooh, 19 health and time is up. We just need to spray and pray. Wow, I can't believe that worked. The Lunar Blast somehow stunned the knight right when he was about to attack, which made him miss me. We're still in this then. He's almost dead. Just finish him. Okay, so what do we do now then? Well, the next boss on the list is Crab King, who is required to be beaten to be able to fight the Celestial Champion. There are, however, not 1, not 2, but 3 massive problems with Crab King in this run. Firstly, he's located in the middle of the ocean. Why is that bad? Well, we can craft neither a boat nor an oar to access the ocean whatsoever. Secondly, to even get the altar we need for Celestial Champion from Crab King, we need to start the fight with Pearl's Pearl in hand, an item that requires us to complete 10 different quests for this hermit called Pearl, several of which require crafting something like a chair, for example. Finally, as if that wasn't bad enough, the altar we need falls in the ocean when Crab King dies, meaning we need to craft a pinching winch to get it onto our boat. So, is the run doomed then? Surely having to craft something would mean we have to craft something, right? Well, not if you're a crazed lunatic like me, it doesn't. Let's tackle problem 1, shall we, by getting our hands on a boat and an oar. The boat is easy enough since the marauder dens that spawn a bit of the coast can act as really shitty boats if we teleport onto them with a lazy explorer. But hey, a shitty boat is a boat nonetheless. The oar, however, is a whole different ballgame. There's only a single way to get an oar without crafting it or without being on the ocean already. That, my friends, is the Albatross bill that can be gotten from the Klaus sack, so you know what that means. We need to fight Klaus. As you can see, I have already found the deer that needs to run into a tree for you to get the antler summoning item for Klaus. Easy enough. Before we fight him, however, I noticed the walruses had respawned, so I took a shot at getting the tam o'shanter again, and I got it. Also, make sure to pick up the blow darts they drop since we need them for Crab King later. The RNG of getting the tam o'shanter gets cancelled out here, however, since the stage didn't give me anything useful. You may be screaming at me for not rolling for a backpack in this run since it can actually be gotten from the stage, but I deliberately haven't since I want to show you that you don't actually really need them. Well, at least if you're not carrying around any resources like a certain idiot I won't mention. Anyways, the sack was easy enough to find, so let's use the false key and fight Klaus to get our hands on the real key. This fight is pretty easy actually, but despite that, I still found a bunch of ways to mess it up. Klaus has his double swipe attacks, sure, but his deer companions are what make him special. By raising his hand, he can use the deer to cast fire or ice spells, depending on the deer. And since Willow's whole thing is fire, I could simply tank the fire spell, since it wouldn't hurt me at all. Something I, of course, didn't realize. But why don't you just kill the deer then, so you won't have to deal with their spells? Well, if I did that, Klaus would go Super Saiyan and get 100,000 health, double damage, and impossible to dodge attacks. If you wanna see that, I have an old video on the channel where I actually beat him. But back to this fight. At 50% health, Klaus decides to call in reinforcements in the form of 2 Crampi. Thankfully, these are easily dealt with using the Lunar Blast, and we can resume the fight. Okay, he's almost down. I'm getting hit by the deer, but it's fine, surely. Nice. Okay, Klaus was apparently playing a no-eating run and used a life-giving amulet to revive himself to half HP. This means phase 2 is here. He now unlocks a huge mouth in his stomach that lets him perform dangerous lunge attacks against us. The speed boost we have come in clutch again, it seems, since it makes dodging the lunges fairly easy. Well, forgetting about Burning Frenzy made a tentacle spike break before Klaus died. I don't want to waste the bat, so I guess I'll just finish him with a walking cane. And down he goes. Unfortunately for us, the ore only has a 2 in 9 chance to drop from the sack. And worse yet, that RNG is decided on world generation. Meaning I would either have to replay 30 grueling hours of RNG manipulation to roll for it again, or simply use a command that rerolls the sack loot. Since RNG manipulation is allowed in the run, and since this command acts strictly within what the game normally allows, I opted to use the command here. Don't worry though, since I will explain how to bypass this later, but for now I guess we're down to a 1 in 11.25 billion. Even with this though, I still had to kill Klaus 10 times to get the stupid beak. Stupid challenge. After gathering up a trillion embers and using some of them to restock on tentacle spikes, I went and found a marauder den off the coast of the Beefalo Savannah. This is about as bad of a boat as you could ask for, however. It only has 100 health and it takes damage from simply being in deep water. There is no way this will last the entire Crab King fight. No, we need to think bigger, think better, and... oh, what's this? A boat set piece? Now, we won't actually be using this boat, no. By opening the chest, we not only find a raincoat, pan flute, and star collar staff, we actually 100% need the star collar staff to fight Celestial Champion, so this was important. But what's this? A pirate raid just happened to spawn as a trap event from opening the chest. Oh, and the pirate raid just happened to have a sunken treasure on board. And whoa, I just happened to carry the sunken chest over to a set piece with a rook in it. Oh, and the chest just happened to drop another boat kit that we need to defeat Crab King. Yeah, don't ask me how long this took to both figure out and RNG manipulate. Let's just leave it at 1 in 1.4 trillion for now. Remember how I said at the beginning the chances would be about 1 in 10 billion? Yeah, I'm starting to think that was an underestimation. Also, I'm so sorry I didn't get to showcase the archaic boat in this run like I wanted to. It's quite literally 5 times more likely to get than a normal boat, and it's more than twice as good. I just happened to get the normal boat first and didn't want to sit through hours of grinding just to show it off. It will also be harder this way at least. Yay, or something, I guess. You know, I'm also sick and tired of having to farm tentacles all the time for weapons, so let's now lay our hands on a more inventory and durability efficient option in the Shield of Terror. The shield is dropped by yet another raid boss, the Twins of Terror. So let's fight them right now. The twins are actually my least favorite boss fight in the game for multiple reasons. Firstly, they leave when the night ends, just like I have terror. Secondly, they're just so poorly designed in my opinion, since you're supposed to fight them together, but just by playing naturally, you can see I've already isolated one of them. Anyways, for phase 1, I can get away with using the Lunar Blast to clean up the minions, while also damaging the boss. Okay, but now day has come, and so we need to wait. I spent the day going to the ruins to pick up some bananas, and we'll go over why later. But this took a bit too long, and now we only have a sliver of night left to fight. I mean, just look at how easy it is to separate them here. What a terrible design in my opinion. Nice, I left the boss right before phase 2 transition before it left, but we can't rest yet since Deerclops is here. Deerclops is very easy now that I can actually attack her. We can actually just break her ankles to dodge every attack. The only thing you gotta watch out for is her massive insanity aura. See? A Terrorbeak spawn. Just finish her with a Lunar Blast. I performed on the stage and got a pickaxe. I then cooked some more healing food. I picked up Glommer since it's a full moon, but I did not have time to go restock my embers, meaning we now have to enter phase 2 without the Lunar Blast. Okay, the green twin will now dash like a madman. We can at least lead him away from his minions, but now it's very easy to get comboed and break the eye mask. Oh, come on, kill him now. Please, stupid minion. No! 4 health! I'm gonna die! Just whack him with a cane. That was way too close. The night is still young though, so let's go start on the red twin. And I'm gonna light him on fire here so I don't start freezing. Just look at the amount of minions. If only I had a Lunar Blast to deal with them. Okay, the night is over, but we're still in a pickle here. Okay, now there are 2 Terrorbeaks. Man, freezing faster is so annoying. Back to the fireball. After cleaning up the minions and saving Chester, I finally went over to gather some more embers. Sorry, not sorry, bees. Okay, but let's actually use Burning Frenzy this time. Oh, the minions are stacking up. I'm gonna see if I can get away with a cheeky Lunar Blast. Wow, that was so clean. Whoop! Couldn't feed my helmet. 5%! Beat it quick! I'm getting it way too much here, but I want to finish him tonight. 1%! No way! The save lag almost screwed me like that. That's actually insane, but we'll have to finish him tomorrow. Okay, now you're done for, Mr. Mouthy Eyeball. Nice. There were way too many close calls in that fight, but now we finally have our beautiful Shield of Terror, and I don't need the tentacle spikes anymore. The twins also drop electrical doodads, which is really clutch, since we'll need 2 of them later. Okay, but with the twins done and dusted, only one step in our Crab King prep remains, and that is getting the pearl I talked about. I've been secretly gathering much of the materials we need to obtain it as I've gone, such as a dapper vest, 10 marble, 10 moon rocks, boards and cut stone, a couple of rope, 5 carpets, some fireflies, relight bulbs, fishing equipment, rot, and just yesterday I visited a developer graveyard for a shovel to dig up 8 berry bushes. Cause yeah, the world just happened to have that too. Also, now I'm really mad again since the next 15 minutes of footage simply disappeared from my computer altogether, and I accomplished a lot in those 15 minutes. I vividly remember actually watching that footage and moving it to my project folder, but now it's simply gone. My only guess is that it somehow failed to move correctly since I had a media player open, and so I accidentally deleted the footage together with the useless RNG manipulation footage. So I guess I'll just have to recap what happened. I teleported to a Marauder den and rushed to Pearl Pearl to give her the Dapper Vest since it was snowing, so that's 1 quest out of 10. Then I paddled back toward a cookie cutter shoal I saw, but on the way the luckiest thing happened. I spotted an ice bream shoal on the way, which is the rarest type of fish in the game since they only spawn in winter, and I fished up a heavy one for Pearl using the heavy weighted lure I got from the boat trap, meaning that's quest 2. I then kept the Marauder Den afloat using the kelp from Pearl's island and farmed 10 cookie cutter shells, which I then used along with my other stuff to upgrade her home twice, and I also planted the berry bushes and dried some monster meat. After catching a heavy mudfish, which is 1 out of 5 heavy ocean fish we need, I headed back to base and we're now caught up. Before I go back to Pearl, I need the final things first. I performed at the stage to get an umbrella for Pearl, deconstructed this spear and this beekeeper hat for the final 2 ropes we need, and we should be good. I'm not actually scared of lightning striking my boat in this run, since Willow can simply absorb the fire. On the island we finish the house, give Pearl the budget umbrella, take care of the lure plant infestation, and finally spending the day catching the 4 remaining heavy fish, which makes the 10th task complete, and our reward is of course the glorious Pearl. Ahead lies one final barrier, however. The game now expects us to use this blueprint we can trade from Pearl to craft a pinching winch. Blueprints are arch nemesis. I will trade for it just for the 15 sanity, but is this where the run finally fails? A blueprint? A stupid blue sheet of paper stands in our way. I won't let this be it. This can't be it. After all the pain and suffering, it simply can't end like this. And so I looked far and wide for anything to help me, and a little bird told me about a light at the end of the tunnel. A glitch in shining armor. A glitch that supposedly should teleport the altar piece onto land. I thought this has to be it. And so I tried and tried for hours, but I just couldn't replicate it. Hope was lost. The altar would just fall in the ocean over and over and over again. But then I had it! Maybe, just maybe, had I found a solution. No, it was too crazy. Not even speedrunners do this, I thought. It was, however, worth a shot. Maybe, just maybe, as the altar flies in the air, I could somehow catch it before it hit the water. But how would one catch a whole altar? You can just barely catch the rocks that fall from sea stacks, and the altar is a heavy object like the marble heads, right? Surely it's impossible. Well, I might just have to try my way of performing the pinching winch skip. And so, filled with adrenaline, I went to pack my bags for the fight. I promptly realized the local bats had eaten the guardian horn and the deer clops eyeball I left on the ground. That sucks. Then I gathered up another 1 trillion embers and took the wormhole over to where I left the boat earlier. What the huh? My boat is gone? Are you kidding me? It had the boat kit I needed for Crab King, my boards, my boat patches, my extra oar. Panic quickly set in, but surely my stuff is somewhere. Those bastard monkeys must have taken it all off screen, and that means it should be buried at the X marks the spot. What a relief it's all here. Except the stupid boat, of course, so I'll need to go steal one back from the monkeys. I teleported onto a marauder boat, realized I left my ore in Chester, meaning I wasted 2 teleports to go get it. When I hadn't even left shore, however, another pirate raid spawned, and that suddenly made me realize just how stupid I was. You see, the primate on every raid boat has a battle paddle, a usually worthless item that both acts as a shitty weapon and a shitty oar. Let me say that again. That both acts as a shitty weapon and a shitty oar. That acts as an oar! Are you kidding me? I could have gotten an oar from simply teleporting onto a den and waiting for a raid. All the pain of fighting Klaus was completely worthless. At least I got a boat and another chest from the raid with a golden pickaxe in it, and at least it means the command I used earlier didn't matter. But bro, how can so many things go wrong in like 10 minutes? This gives me a bad feeling for the Crab King fight. Speaking of the Crab King fight, let's fight Crab King, and let's try this pinching winch skip. The gems we socket into CK determine the strength of his abilities, and the best option for us is 1 of each gem and 2 extra greens. Greens only boost the claws that he summons, and our Lunar Blast is a perfect counter for them. Starting the fight, I use Burning Frenzies, since surprisingly CK can be set on fire. We just need to deal enough damage as fast as possible here for Crab King to push us away. We need to keep this boat alive as long as possible, since we can't just craft new boats if it breaks. When the ice platform pops up, we put the crab guards to sleep immediately and start breaking the ice barrier. The faster we do this, the less healing CK will get through, and it looks like we're fast enough to prevent all of it here. It's going great so far, but we need to be ready for when CK stops healing to cast the Lunar Blast for extra damage. Oh shoot, I slipped! If the ice platform breaks under us, we instantly lose. For the claw phase, we would actually have infinite time to get situated if it weren't for the towers pelting us constantly. When they're bunched up, use the Lunar Blast to take them out easily. CK himself will actually do nothing here until we damage him enough, so we make sure to repair the boat. Our boards are running really low though. Burning Frenzy, fire, slap him, nice. Next ice phase. Oh, we got launched really far here, but I think we still have time. Nice! No heals for you, buddy. Okay, Lunar Blast. Then get on the boat. Oh no, the monster meat is gonna spoil, so I have to use what I can and cook the rest. The claws cut up. Blast them, then we go. Frenzy, fire, slap, and nice. Very clean so far. Okay, we're on the final phase now, but nice! The big crab guardian spawned on the opposite side of the platform. Our goal now is not to kill him, but to set up the pinching winch skip by getting him really low. $68 health, that's perfect. Oh no, the boat is really low. Ah, a tower spawned under it. Abandon ship. Come on, let me place the boat, stupid puffin. But okay then. So how does this actually work? Firstly, we need to clear all the claws, so let's do that. Remember the blow darts from the walruses? They will play a key role here, since we're gonna attempt to catch the altar midair. Observe, full speed! Oh no, I messed up. Shit, get some distance. Full speed now, watch this. Yo, it actually worked! I can't believe that! I was sure Crab King's hitbox wouldn't disappear until his death animation finished, but we freaking got it, ladies and gentlemen. That was actually perfect execution too. Let's go! Speedrunners, take notes. I'm genuinely so happy right now. The challenge is saved. Are you joking? A raid now? During my victory lap? I can't actually fight these guys now, since each of them drop one of these cursed trinkets. You can't get them out of your inventory conventionally, and if you get 10 you turn into a monkey. I have 9 from the previous raid, so I simply escaped onto land. They surely won't steal the altar, right? No, I'm just messing with you. But I do want to deal with these trinkets, so I paddled over to the monkey island to get my revenge. By feeding the monkey queen a banana, she will remove 4 of your trinkets. And by also keeping a stack of twigs in my first slot, I wiped out the entire monkey population without losing any items, and burned their hut. That one's for my boat. Then I paddled for 1.5 days to the lunar island. It's here that we need to socket the altar pieces, and I figured I would do that now, so there's no risk of it falling in the ocean. We actually need 3 altars to summon the celestial champion, and the pieces of the second one can actually be mined out on this island already. The gold pickaxe from that raid is really coming in clutch here. I still have no beefalo though, meaning I need to move all these by hand. Before we get the third and final altar, however, I think we should finally go take care of FUELWEAVER actually. His drops are super good against the champion, and we've been putting him off since we defeated the Shadow Knight. To prepare, I went to restock on embers. The beasts just never get to catch a break in these runs, do they? Then I went to the desert to pick all the cactus I could possibly find. FUELWEAVER has a massive insanity aura for one thing, but we also need to be able to manipulate our sanity at a moment's notice, so hence the cactus. Usually you would simply craft a nightmare amulet for this, but since I don't want to sit for 7 hours farming pseudoscience stations with a rook to get one, we'll have to do without. Finally, I visited the local spider quarry to farm some monster meat. Nowadays it's synonymous with both weapons and armor. After cooking some healing food and collecting all of Glommer's goop that will both heal us and reduce our sanity, we enter the caves. To summon FUELWEAVER, we both need the key from Ancient Guardian, the heart from the Shadow Knight, and finally some fossil pieces to build his skeleton. Using a pickaxe from the stage, I mined a bunch of cave spider dens down here to get my hands on the needed 8. We're also talking about one of the final bosses here, meaning we can't just summon him anywhere. You need to be in the deepest and darkest place of the ruins. And so I went there through the hole this massive tentacle is guarding. Unfortunately, I had to use 2 teleports to navigate the place, meaning we're now down to only 10 measly teleports for the fight that requires them the most. We also don't have a nightmare amulet like you're supposed to, and we only have 80% armor apart from the single knight armor we got from the Shadow Knight. This was easily the hardest fight I've ever done in this game. The Shadow Knight, Enraged Klaus, not even no attacking comes close to the difficulty of this fight. I spent, I kid you not, 15 hours practicing this fight. It took me that long to even get a sliver of consistency. Also, if you're wondering why I'm not using Willow's companion Bernie for this fight, he's simply not strong enough with the skills I had to pick at the start for me to be able to incorporate him. This will be impossibly hard. We start the fight and make sure our sanity is good. The amount of precision required here is frankly insane. The first thing we need to look out for is his bone snare attack that happens 2 skull bashes after this circle attack. Getting hit by it would immobilize me, and it has a massive reach. Nice, by waiting for him a little bit, we're almost guaranteed to trigger a second bone snare after 3 more skull bashes. See, and now he will do 4 to 6 circle attacks before the next bone snare. So make sure to count them. That was 1, 2, 3, and 4. After 2 skull bashes, prepare to dodge. Nice! Can you tell why this took 15 hours to figure out? And we haven't even gotten to the way harder phase 2 yet. Phase 2 triggers at 10,000 health, meaning we want him as close as possible. Make sure his bone snare is off cooldown and that you are insane. If you do this, he will use his new mind control ability on you and not attack you, meaning we can place many free hits here. He will then make himself invincible, which is a huge problem that we'll deal with shortly. Okay, walk left here, and it doesn't matter if he snares you. Then he starts summoning healers in the circle. If they reach him, each one heals for a massive 400 health. Since he snared me, I will bait 1 skull bash when he reaches this statue. This will give me just enough room to dodge a snare to the right. Walk him right and dodge 2 skull bashes followed by another snare. If you do it right, you can kite him down before the healers reach him. When he passes the circle, we need to go insane to be able to disable the invincibility shield. That is where Glomer's Goop comes into play. This will trigger a mind control, so clear out the closest healers and invincibility torches now. By standing in this exact corner, he walks to you and you have just enough time to get away, and we're hitless so far. Make sure to dodge the snare as you clear the torches, then lead him back to the top corner. Dodge his attack, disable the shield, and he should mind control you. Since all the torches are gone, simply slam 5 cactus now to be sane again. We can now finally attack him. Bait out 2 skull bashes, then a snare, immediately head back and bait out 3 more skull bashes, and then another snare. That's all the hits we can place, and now the cycle repeats. Well, this time he actually calls the healers before he snares you, so be ready for that. And now we need to bait out 2 skull bashes when he reaches the statue instead of just 1. Otherwise, the cycle is the same. As you may realize by now, the amount of precision required for this is absolutely insane, and we can't afford to get hit by a single snare. Why? Well, there's a bug that sometimes causes the FUELWEAVER to de-aggro when you teleport, causing him to walk right to the center and heal up a ton with nothing you can do. Well, except not getting snared in the first place. Oh shit, a crawling horror spawn. This can absolutely happen, but it's fine, so just stay calm. It only means you'll have to kite them as well. As you can see, there are 2 of them on me here, but I simply don't care and just slam my cactus as usual. Now they should despawn soon, and I only lost a couple of hits. It really hurts though, since our damage window is so absurdly small. Oh no, I messed up here. FUELWEAVER is going too far to the right and he's gonna snare me. Yep. Thank God he didn't de-aggro there though. No! I missed the healer and now he's gonna stop. Shoot. Oh, the cycle is broken. Execute plan B. Now we don't have a cycle, so we'll have to manually keep track of the snare cooldown as we scramble to get him back into it. See? 1 mistake was all it took. Okay, mind control. Lead him away from the circle. Clear the torches. Now the snare could be off cooldown. Be really careful here since the snare will cancel the lunar blast. Oh no, I messed up here again. I should have teleported here, but I didn't want to waste it. Dang, I wasted it anyway. Okay, we need to get damage here, so just tank and pray. Our health is fine, but make sure the helmet doesn't break. Don't hit him with a lunar blast here. If we're caged next to him and he has the shield up, the shield will knock us out of the blast. So we just have to accept he gets to heal once here. He has so much health though, we need a miracle here. Oh no, he's summoning inside the circle. This is really bad. A healer could spawn on him and there would be nothing we could do. Just get as much damage as possible. Nice, we are so lucky here. When he bends down, we can lunar blast. Nice, 2,000 damage in that cycle. Just keep track of his cooldowns. What was that? I was surely far enough away. We might actually be fine though. And this is a golden opportunity to try to get him back into the cycle. I'm gonna trade the damage for a snare here actually. He just needs to summon the healers. Right. Dodge the snare. Oh, I'm so dumb, bro. But at least he didn't de-aggro. Okay, don't you dare miss a healer this time. Nice. We're officially back in the cycle. Hello, snare me. Thank you. Oh, I don't care. I'm just gonna tank him here. Come on. Surely I get him. Dang it! Come on! What are you doing, bro? Why are you trying to get the cycle? Just clear the torches and get this over with. He's low enough. Oh, excellent. You messed up here and he actually de-aggroed this time. Plan B, quick! Okay. Dodge the snare. Now not even you can mess this up. Come on! Nice! Willow 1, FUELWEAVER 148. Yep, that's how many times he killed me in practice. And no, I don't want to talk about it. But you know what this means, folks? We freaking beat Ancient FUELWEAVER without crafting a single item. I genuinely thought it would be impossible, but we freaking did it. Now it's just Celestial Champion left, and boy do we need to hurry. The next step to get the final altar requires us to perform the Moonstone event on a full moon night to convert the star color staff we got from the boat into a moon color staff. The only problem is that the full moon is on night 51. Go, 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 go! We use the remaining cactus to pass the obelisks, teleport to the tentacle, kill it quickly, and then we book it to the surface. The closest cave exit led us right to the bees. Perfect. We need a bunch of embers for the Moonstone event. Due to the lack of inventory space earlier, I left the star color staff where we dug up the X marks the spot. Thankfully, it's in the Moonstone forest where we're heading anyways. Okay, the full moon just started. Repair the stone and put the staff in. Since we can't craft walls, this is gonna be hard, and we need to manually fend off all the hounds and werepigs so they don't destroy the stone. Start with the pan flute here, but they won't be asleep for long. When enough of them have gathered, cast Combust, just like on the bees, which sends them all panicking. They got some hits in, so repair the stone. Unfortunately, Combust doesn't last the entire event, so make sure... Oh shit, oh shit! That was way too close. There are surely better ways to handle this, but I simply did not have any time to prepare. Then I realized you can actually use pigskin to repair the shield and mask. Well, I should have done that earlier, Lamau. Next, we need to journey to the ancient archives in the caves to get our hands on an astral detector and use it to dig up the final altar on the surface. Before that though, I wanted to get a pickaxe from the stage, since we're gonna need a lot of pickaxes soon. I spent, I kid you not, a whole hour grinding the stage. 30 attempts for a 1 in 9 and I didn't get a pickaxe once. I got every other drop though, but not a pickaxe. I'm sure we won't need it though, surely. At least it gives us another stage roll, and we would also have potential for 2 more before the year ends, meaning I can actually increase the chances of the run from 1 in 4 trillion to just 1 in 1 trillion. And there we go. This is the final score. There are no more RNG steps in the run, meaning there's roughly a 1 in 1 trillion chance to simply boot up the game and being able to do this awful run in one go in the first year. Don't ever try this challenge. Well, just because the RNG is over doesn't at all mean the pain is, so let's keep going. Before we enter the archives, I need to deconstruct the moon collar staff for the iridescent gem, the key to activate the archives. We should also pack a pickaxe in case we need to mine the boulders on the way in. This world had the smallest archives I've ever seen though. The rock tunnel was like 5 feet long and the archive switch was right next to it. There was also a blue fountain we needed in the same room.
That's right there!
But I'm blind apparently, so I went to a different one. Oh, and the Orchestrina was 10 feet away from that too. A speedrunner's dream to be sure. Anyways, to unlock this distilled knowledge we got from the fountain, we need to complete this memory puzzle, which I of course did on my first try and... oh. No! I'm genuinely gonna cry. This time, there's no other way. There is no pinching winch skip. There's no amazing play to be done. There's simply nothing. We were so close. So freaking close, bro. Damn it! I guess we just have to take the L to the freaking astral detector. Whatever, let's try to look on the bright side. There's no way this astral detector piece of garbage is gonna help us survive better or fight better. It's simply a tool to dig up the altar pieces. So let's instead see what the minimum amount of crafts necessary is. I'm so sorry, but I simply couldn't find a way to bypass this. That means though, this is our only astral detector, and it has 10 uses. With it, we need to find 2 separate altar pieces that can be almost anywhere on the mainland, meaning our triangulation skills will need to be top-notch. Okay, it seems the first one is in the swamp, maybe next to this spider nest? On the way, I also found another X marks the spot with a golden shovel in it, which will surely put to use later. Ooh, right here maybe? Yes! 4 uses for that one. This is doable. Oh no, the second one is really far. Wow, really far. Okay, we have 3 uses left here, so let's triangulate once again. Okay, I need to be really precise here. Yes! With the final use too. Now we have to freaking carry these to the lunar island though. Wow, there's something really scary about carrying this through a horde of angry beefalo, but we just need to make it to the wormhole. Nice, but when I went through the wormhole, a freaking frog rain started. This is literally just an annoying game. This made me realize though, just how screwed we are and how bad this is for us. Summer kinda starts in one day, and we have absolutely no way to cool down. Our only options are the moon collar staff, which I needed to deconstruct earlier, a thermal stone, but it's only a 3% chance to drop from a raid, or I guess the caves. The problem with the caves though is that everything we have left to do is on the surface and they only cool us down a little bit. But hey, what if we simply don't care though? I did a no eating run while simply healing through the pain, and while we don't have Wartox's souls here, we can simply eat blue mushrooms, right? It's worth a try. With the frogs and hounds harassing me at every step of the way, I didn't even have time to move the boat in position before summer hit. Somehow though, I didn't start overheating. I don't know if it's a bug or a willow feature or something else, but these are absolutely the kind of W's we take. Since we cleared out all the tentacles from the swamp earlier, moving the pieces didn't pose much of a problem actually. It took all the way until day 58 for me to start overheating, but we're also done with moving the pieces. Nice, the Moonstorm event is is now triggered, which is the final thing that stands between us and the Celestial Champion, and the Moonstorms seem to have spawned right next door. Not long after I enter, Wagstaff shows up and... damn it! The game expects us to craft something again. This time it's the Astrogals that would make us able to see more than a foot in front of us and walk faster than a snail while in the storm. Well, I guess we won't get to see more than a foot in front of us or walk faster than a snail. Great. I can't even see my inventory. I then gathered some stuff we need. 8 scrap from the junkyard, the 2 doodads we got from the twins, some more blue mushrooms for healing, and some more embers. Then I went to do the Moonstorm event. This is finally where the bug nets come into play, since we need them to catch 15 moongleams. Oh, and the pickaxes will be used to mine 30 infused moonglass as we go. Finally, we need to complete Wagstaff's experiment as fast as possible, since the moonglass spoils really quickly, and we simply don't have enough pickaxes to gather more. Moving at a snail's pace and not being able to see my inventory made this a huge pain. Thankfully, he kinda did the experiment towards the edge of the storms and also up against the river, meaning the invading birds stood no chance against our lunar blast. You can't actually cast spells while scrambling in the storms, meaning this was particularly great. Nice, it's finally done. I just want these storms to go away. What? They're supposed to move to somewhere else? Well, I guess they just randomly went to the same spot. We can't dilly-dally, however, since the moonglass is about to spoil. But yes, Keen Eyes may have noticed that the Astrogals blueprint wasn't the only blueprint Wagstaff gave us. We also got the incomplete experiment one, and unfortunately, we 100% need to craft it to summon the Celestial Champion. I know, it absolutely sucks, but hey, at least we only need to craft it once, since the rest of it only needs us to build it and not craft it. That's a real bummer though. For Celestial Champion, I won't risk anything. I simply refuse to do all this again. I realized a frog had pulled the eye mask out of my inventory, so I went back to pick it up. At base, I also killed Glommer for some more goop and monster meat. Go ahead, Krampus, you can steal my entire base if you want to. I simply don't care anymore. I said we weren't risking anything, so then I used that golden shovel we got to dig up 3 entire stacks of blue mushrooms for healing. I also paid a visit to the local cookie cutter show to get some more monster meat for armor and healing. I think this summarizes the challenge quite well too. The summer, insanity, ocean and overheating waves all stacked on top of each other, and coupled with the constant wiggling from the terror claws, it actually made me feel sick in real life. So sick in fact that I couldn't even spell correctly. There is actually one option for us to cool down though, that I really want to get for the fight, and it's eating ice. Out in the ocean, there is always one guaranteed spot where you can get ice, and so I mined as much as I could before my final pickaxe broke. But now the pain is finally over. Let's have a nice and actually fun Celestial Champion fight to end this truly awful challenge. As long as I don't get hit by the Busso attack, this will actually be fun. Even Bernie gets to join in. Can you beat Don't Starve Together without crafting? The answer is almost. Yeah, we were close to pulling it off, but in the end we came out with a massive 2 crafted items to our name.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I know, terrible. At least they didn't help us in any way. It's not like a fight was impossible or anything, and I'm especially happy with that pinching wind skip. Also, you may have realized that I narrated all the boss fights in this video. That's because I had some comments suggesting it, and I wanted to try it, so be sure to tell me what works better, either in the comments or in the community post I just made. You guys decide, so make sure to vote. Also, what is this? With that said, do be sure to subscribe to make all my pain worth it, and most importantly, enjoy life!